Hello, and welcome back to another SLP at UCLA video. Today we'll be talking about sketches, which are the basic building blocks of any SOLIDWORKS part. So to create a sketch, we're going to come over to the Sketch tab, or click on the Sketch button, right? And this is going to create a sketch on one of these three planes. And these three planes are the origin planes. Where they intersect is the origin, right? The 0, 0, 0, and these dotted lines are the axes. So we're going to click on any of the planes, really. So I'm just going to choose the front plane. And we can start with a line. The line, you're going to click once to start it, click again to end it, and double click to cut off the next line, because whenever you start a line, end a line, it's going to continue making a line until you close the loop. Right, so we have to double click to get rid of those extra lines. And you can see here that it's blue, and what blue means is that the whatever object it is, a line, circle, rectangle, whatever, is underdefined. You can move it around, basically, right? So it doesn't have a set length because I haven't told the computer what the length of this line is, right? There's no angle at which this line is parallel or perpendicular, whatever. And the only point I can't move is this point at the origin because I started it at the origin. But if I had done this line over here, you can see if I did this line over here, both of these are blue, and I can move around both of them independently. Move this all around and stuff. Right, so let's undo all that. Right, so what we're going to do to make it not blue, right, to help it out, is we're going to do the Smart Dimension button up here. We're going to come and we're going to say, we're going to click on this, it's going to highlight orange, we're going to click on it, and let's make it close to 25, so let's say that we want this to be 25 millimeters long. We click enter. Now you can see that when I try to drag this back and forth here, right, it's no longer going to grow in length or decrease in length because I've defined it to be 25 millimeters long, always. You can see it's still rotated around the origin, but let's say I made a new line here. It's going this way, and you can see that there are two numbers there, right? The approximate length of the line is the first one. The second one is the angle to the origin, essentially. So if I do this here, now you can see since it was horizontal, it's going to automatically know that we want it to be horizontal. Right, the only thing I can change now is the length. So let's make this one also 25. Now I can choose the sketch dimension, or the smart dimension over here, and say that these two are 45 degrees apart. Right, so what this is showing is that the smart dimension can do more than just lengths, it can do angles too. Right, and so now everything's black, which means it's fully defined. So let's take a look at some of the other things that we can do in sketches. If we come to this drop-down menu, we have this midpoint line here. That will do a midpoint line, essentially. It's pretty straightforward. Instead of going from the end of the line to the end of the line, it goes from the middle of the line to one of the ends of the line, and just symmetric on both sides of the point. And double-click again to get rid of it. Right, so now we can move this around. We can say actually, so what happens here, right? This isn't going to give me the length of this line. It's going to give me the distance, the vertical distance from this bottom point to this top point, right? So that would be, and if I come over here, I can show you this at the same time. This for construction, this is going to be like a dotted line. It's a dashed line, and these will be helpful later when you're trying to extrude a part from a sketch, but we'll talk about that in a different video. Right, so then what this distance is measuring is the length of this line here, not the length of this line. So we're gonna just delete that. And I want this line, right? If the dimension is parallel to the line, then that's the dimension that's gonna give you the length of that line. Right, so let's make this 15. And we can say that this is going to be a strip 60 degrees. Right now everything's black again because I can't move it around. Right, everything's fully defined. So we can take a look at like circles. They're pretty straightforward. The rest of this circle, you go from the center outwards. Clicking on the circle with the smart dimension will give you the diameter. So you can say this is 15. We could do boxes. So this is corner of a rectangle to the corner of a rectangle. Since this point is defined, and we know that rectangles are, 90 degrees each corner, and knows that these two are defined. The only things that are undefined are the lengths. So we could say maybe this is, or 20 is fine, and then this is 10. Now we have a fully defined rectangle. There are other kinds of rectangles that I implore you to go and check out by yourselves after watching this video, because I don't really have time to go through every single thing right now. So we have arcs here. This will give you like part of a circle. So this is a center point arc. We're going to choose the center of the arc, the starting point of the arc, and the ending point of the arc. That's getting us that, and we can make the arc bigger and more full. It's pretty straightforward, right? All these, all of them have essentially the same kind of thing, right? Spline is click once, click twice, and now you have a curvy thing, and then double click to end it. So if you ever have, like a line or some other thing, and this is the extra thing, just double click and you'll get with it. So yeah, feel free to experiment with some of these other ones. I'm going to show you 2 more things, or 3 more things. How about? We'll do this point, right? You can put a point anywhere you want. Right, drag it around. Let's say we want it in relation to this point. We want it to be, yeah, sure, 1 millimeter down from it and 14 away from it. And now we have a black point here. So we can't move around or anything, but we can, get this exact place for like a circle if we want there. Right, so now let's take a look at this polygon function. This one, you go from the center of the polygon out to the edge of the polygon. You can choose, or let's try that again. You can choose the number of sides. So let's say I want like 7 sides, and it's a heptagon, right? Nonagon, octagon, right? This inscribed circle and circumscribed circle are helpful for relations, which will be talked about in the next video. And all these parameters here are just like where you want it, how big the sides are going to be, all that kind of stuff. And click the green check mark, and we have our polygons. Right, and then the last thing I want to show you guys is the fillet function. Fillets are going to round the corners, right? Any sharp corners are going to round those corners. So, for example, click on this. Oh, okay, so sometimes if the fillet is too large, it won't let me do it, so let's try this. Yeah, okay, so since this dimension is only 10, I can't make a fillet that's 10 millimeters in diameter, because 10 millimeters is just like the radius, right? So if we do 5, we can see that the yellow thing here, that's the fillet. We can do this one over here as well. We click the check mark. You can see it rounds the corners. And we can double click on this thing and like change it a little bit. All right. I hope that was informative. Check out the next video. It should be down in the playlist below for more in-depth review of some of the more intricate functions of sketches. I hope you learned a lot today. Have a great day.